arm. I swore by all that I held most sacred.
One morning as I was sitting stitching by the open window, she burst in and flew at me. "Give him up," she screamed. "He's mine." Her photographs were kind to her, seeing her now for the first time full length in the flesh. I understood why he preferred me.
We were not long together when she smelled the rat. "Give up that whore," she said, "or I'll cut my throat." Pardon, so help me God. I knew she could have no proof, so I told her I did not know what she was talking about.
"What are you talking about?" I said, stitching away. "Someone yours? Give up whom? I smell you off him," she screamed. "He stinks of bitch."
Though I had him dogged for months by a first-rate man, no shadow of proof was forthcoming. There was no denying he continued as assiduous as ever. This, and his horror of the merely platonic thing made me sometimes wonder if I were not accusing him unjustly. Yes.
"What have you to complain of?" I said. "Have I been neglecting you? How could we be together the way we are if there was someone else? Loving her as I did with all my heart, I could not but feel sorry for her."
Fearing she was about to offer me violence, I ran for Erskine and had her shown out. Her parting words, as he could testify, he is still living and has not forgotten, coming and going on the earth, letting people in, showing people out, were to the effect that she would settle my hash. I confess this did alarm me a little at the time.
She was not convinced I might have known. I smell her off, as she kept saying. There was no answer to this, so I took her in my arms and swore I could not go on in life without her. I meant it, what is more. Yes, I am sure I did. She did not repulse me.
Judge then of my astonishment when one fine morning as I was sitting stricken in the morning room, he slunk in, fell on his knees before me, buried his face in my lap, and confessed.
She put a bloodhound on me, but I had a little chat with him. He was glad of the extra money.
"Why don't you get out?" I said when he started moaning about his home life. "There's obviously nothing between you anymore, or is there?"
I confess my first feeling was one of wonderment. What a male.
"Anything between us," he said. "What do you take me for? A something machine?" And of course with him no danger of the spiritual thing. "Well then why don't you get out?" I said. I sometimes wonder if you were not living with her for her money.
The next thing was the scene between them. "I can't have her crashing in here," she said, "threatening to take my life." I must have looked incredulous. "Ask Erskine," she said, "if you don't believe me." "But she threatened to take her own," I said. "Not yours," she said. "No," I said, "hers. We had fun trying to work this out."
Then I forgave him. To what will love not stoop? I suggested a little jaunt to celebrate to the Riviera or our darling Grand Canary. He was looking pale, piquant, but this was not possible just then. Professional commitments.
She came again, just strolled in, all honey, licking her lips, poor thing. I was doing my nails by the open window. "He's told me all about it," she said. "Who he?" I said, filing away, "and what it?" "I know what torture you must be going through," she said, "and I've dropped in to say I bear you no ill feeling." I rang for Erskine.
Then I got frightened and made a clean breast of it. She was looking more and more desperate. She had a razor in her vanity bag. Adulterers take warning, never admit.
When I was satisfied all was over, I went to have a gloat, just to comment what he had found in her when he had me.
When he came again, we had it out. I felt like death. He went on about why he had to tell her, too risky and so on. That meant he'd gone back to her, back to that.
Pudding face, puffy, spots, blubber mouth, no neck, drugs you could.
He went on and on. I could hear a mower, an old hand mower. I stopped him and said that whatever I might feel, I had no silly threats to offer, but not much stomach for her leavings either. He thought that over perfect.
Calves like a flunky.
When I saw her again, she knew. She was looking wretched. Pardon, so help me God. And then she was looking wretched. There was no turning back at this point. Fine.
Little rush, then another.
A little rush, then another. The problem was how to convince her that no revival of intimacy was involved. I knew I couldn't, so I took her in my arms and told her I could not go on living without her. I don't believe I could have.
The only solution was to go away together. He swore we should as soon as he had put his affairs in order. In the meantime, we were to carry on as before. By that he meant as best we could.
So he was mine again, all mine. I was happy again. I went about singing the world.
At home, all heart to heart, new leaf and bygone, bygone. I ran into Rex Doxy, she said one night on the pillow. "You're well out of that. Rather uncalled for," I thought. "I am indeed, sweetheart." I said. "I am indeed. God, what vermin women. Thanks to you, angel," I said.
Then I began to smell her off him again, yes.
When he stopped coming, I was prepared more or less.
Finally, it was all too much. I simply could no longer.
Before I could do anything, he disappeared. That meant she had won, that slut. I couldn't credit it. I lay stricken for weeks. Then I drove over to her place. It was all bolted and barred, all gray with frozen dew, all the way back by ash and snogging.
I simply could no longer.
I made a bundle of his things and burned them. It was about November and the bonfire was going. All night I smelt them smoldering.
First is change action. Thank God. All it is said, it is done. All is going on.
Mercy, mercy, tongue still hanging out for mercy. It will come. You haven't seen me, but you will, then it will come.
To say I'm not disappointed, no I am. I had anticipated something better than the rest of me.
Or you were weary of me.
Down, I'm going down. I'm going down. Peace is coming. I thought after all at last I was right after all. Thank God. First this change.
Less confused, less confusing at the same time. I prefer this to the other thing, definitely. There are endurable moments.
I thought.
When you go out and I go out, someday you'll tire me. Go out for good.
Hellish half-life.
Peace, yes, I suppose. A kind of peace and all that pain as it never been.
Give me up as a bad job. Go away and start poking and pecking at someone else. On the other hand,
Get off me, get off me.
It will come, must come. There is no future in this.
on the other hand, things may disapprove. There's that danger.
Oh, of course I know now.
Is it that I do not tell the truth? Is that it? That someday, somehow I may tell the truth at last, and then there will be no more light at last for the truth?
You might get angry and whiz me clean out of my wits, mightn't you?
I know now all that is just playing. All this, when will all this?
Is that it?
Mightn't you?
All this, when will all this be just play?
I can do nothing for anyone anymore, thank God, so it must be something I have to say, how the mind works still.
Well, I doubt it. But if I will let you somehow, you must know I'm doing my best, or don't you?
Perhaps they have become friends. Perhaps sorrow.
But I've said all I can, all you let me, all I.
Perhaps sorrow has brought them together.
No doubt I made the same mistake as when it was the sun that shone looking for sense, or possibly there is none.
Perhaps they meet and sit over a cup of that green tea they both so love, without milk or sugar, not even a squeeze of lemon.
Are you listening to me? Is that not bothering about me at all?
Not even a squeeze of...
Is it something I should do with my pigs other than utter a weep?
Might have a little wonder, not necessarily now that all danger is averted. That poor creature, I can hear her, that poor creature.
Might have my tongue and swallow it, spit it out with that placate. You have a mind work still, to be sure.
Meet and sit now in one dear place, now in the other, and sorrow together and compare the God and happy memories.
If only I could think there is no sense in this either, none whatsoever. I can't.
That poor creature who tried to seduce you, whatever became of her, do you suppose I can hear her, poor thing?
Personally, I always preferred Lipton's.
And all those falling will follow from the beginning on empty air, nothing being asked of me at all, no one asking me for anything at all.
They might even feel sorry for me if they could see me, but never so sorry as I for them.
I can't.
Kissing their sour kisses.
I pity them in any case, yes, compare my lot with theirs, however blessed, and
I can't. If the mind won't have it, it would have to go, yes.
pity them.
What do you do when you go out ship?
Am I hiding something? Have I lost?
Sheppies, I fancy those should live like a pig.
We're dragging a great roller on a scorching blade string to get it moving, momentum coming. Kill it and strain again.
Have I lost the thing you want? Why go out? Why go?
Would you perhaps pitying me, thinking poor thing she needs a rest?
Perhaps she has taken him away to live somewhere in the sun.
Why go down? Why not?
I don't know.
Perhaps she is sitting somewhere by the open window, her hands folded in her lap, gazing down out of the olives.
Why not keep on glaring at me without ceasing? I might start to rave and bring it up again. Pardon.
No.
Gazing down out of the olives and the sea, wondering what can be keeping him growing cold, shadows stealing over everything, creeping, yes.
To think we were never together.
And not perhaps a little unhinged already.
Poor creature, poor creatures.
Never woke together on a May morning, the first to wake the other two, then a little thing.
Penitence, yes, at a pinch, atonement, one was resigned, but no, that does not seem to be the point either.
I say I'm not perhaps a little unhinged already, just a little undoubted.
A little dinging.
Silence and darkness were all I craved, will I give a certain amount of both, they being one, perhaps it is more wickedness to pray for more.
A little dinghy on the river, I rested on my oars, they all in their pillows and stern sheets, drifting in some fantasy.
How the shaft light.
She had gone in the head just a shade out of it.
We were not civilized.
Died in the dark, and the dark of the work strange.
Such fantasies then and now.
I doubt it.
Yes, and the whole thing there, all there, staring him in the face, he will see it, yet often grow weary.
And now that you are near,